Greetings. This is going to be a collective read. Alright, so I have a lot of pages of messages, things that have been coming through a lot the last few days. I think I'm going to do this in portions. So we're going to start with actually the latest ones. So 1117, so that would be 3 and 7, which would be 10, which would be a 1. So something about the pioneers, something about completions, something about the togetherness. You only find togetherness in something, you only find the community, the camaraderie in something by finding the oneness of it within yourself first. Something here with the aloneness. Also, I'm hearing Alley Cats. Alley Cats is also a song by the Black Books. And in it, you don't have to change a thing in your life. So someone here could kind of feel like an alley cat in your life. Like they're happy to be an alley cat in your life. They're happy to like walk the alley. And this can also be like walking the alley cat of like past relationships. So I'm hearing Wake Me Up When September Ends, but I'm also hearing is it Once Upon a December, the song from the movie Anastasia? Once Upon a December, which she, goes back to the palace, and she has all of these childhood dreams, lots of nostalgia. So there could be something here about a trauma, something that can only be healed when you revisit something from your childhood. There could also be something here that is getting like remapped. So there can be like a remapping that needs to occur. This can be like driving down a street, something that you haven't done since like elementary school, middle school, high school, college days, and you being in this town, this area, driving through this area is going to trigger certain memories that have been repressed. So there's something here, Once Upon a December. There could be certain things that have been stuck, certain blockages that have been occurring in your life, and the key to getting them unstuck is actually going to occur by tying something to your past. So it's kind of like revisiting something from your past so that you can fully wrap something up, so you can fully receive the transmission, Spirit is also saying. Time is a dressmaker specializing in alterations. Also, I kept hearing Wu-Tang Forever, but what's it called? What it means, Wu-Tang Forever, is witty, unpredictable, talent, and natural game. So someone here could see you as witty, unpredictable, talented, and you have natural game at something. I also kept hearing the country song, I Know You Ain't in Love with Him, Break Up with Him, but I feel like that also goes on both sides of the track. So someone here could see that someone is in a relationship, but they're clearly not in love with that person. There is kind of the pressure here. I kept hearing pressure. Also Shine On You Crazy Diamond, which was written for, one of the members of the band, Sid, and he really struggled with mental things. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not speaking to that. I'm just saying someone here could struggle with their mental health, and they could be like a really potent artist, and the people around them are kind of at a loss with this person. If you're in a situation like that, compassion is one of the biggest things. Being able to acknowledge and see someone where they're at without trying to fix them or change them, but simply acknowledging them exactly, wholly as where they are right now is the most important piece, I feel like Spirit is saying. So, if there's someone in your life and you just keep trying to influence them the right way, trying to sprinkle something, inspire them to be a certain way, Spirit's like, you're not going to get anywhere because you're not acknowledging them where they're at, which is the first and foremost, most important seed that has to occur here for the transformation to go unwound. It's like someone has undergone the transformation, the other person hasn't undergone the transformation yet. This can also be like families, but also intimate relationships, friendships, where, and as we grow and as we evolve through life, we go through certain stages of our spiritual ascension, our journey, and sometimes we go forward a couple steps, and then the people in the past kind of get left behind there, and you want to try and encourage them to where you're at, but you're realizing, Spirit wants you to realize that that's not embracing where they're at right now in their journey, and everybody's journey is on a different timetable. And something here could have been like meeting the right person, but it was at the wrong time, but something could be coming around again, like now is the right time. So in the past, this could have been someone where it was the right person but the wrong time, and now it's about to be the right time. Now, back to the song Alley Cats by the Black Books. Alley Cats and Mars shining in the dark. Where'd you hide the key, dear? I can't find the love we had. Can't find the love we had. So someone here can also be starting to kind of forget certain details of memories that they used to replay over and over and over again. I know I got that message in a previous one of over and over and over again. So this can kind of be like something is slowly healing and fading, and that can be like stressful. You know, sometimes it's like people can grieve something for so long that they become so comfortable in that grief, and then whenever they stop feeling and being so overcome by that grief and other things start to take over their day, take over their space, their head space, their heart space, there's like a whole new level of grief, because then there's the grief of like no longer being in all consumed by grief. There's a lot of grief coming through here. Lots of nostalgia, lots of like going through old memories, lots of needing to remember things, which I really like breaking down the semantics of that word, because if you think of like every part in the human body is a member, like, you know, this finger is a member, this ear is a member, you know, like this shoulder is a member, this shoulder is a member. So to like remember something is kind of like putting a puzzle back together, like putting the pieces together in a different way. And so Spirit is saying, by driving down these streets, by having these memories pouring through, by looking, you know, at old photographs, listening to old mixtapes and things like this, because I kept hearing the mixtape one. It's a Jack's Mannequin song, this mixtape, so listen to that song as well. But something is healing and something is starting to come through. I also kept hearing the song, let the bodies hit the floor. So let the bodies hit the floor. You know, 1 through 4, nothing's wrong with me. 1 through 3, something's got to give. If you feel like something's got to give, maybe it's you. You know, maybe it's you. It's like if someone here is boiling with frustration because they're waiting for that person to reach out and apologize, they're waiting for that person. Spirit's like, you're going to be waiting forever because it's not going to happen. Like, you need to be the one to reach out. Why are you waiting and so frustrated about wanting someone else to do something? Like, you should just do it. Just reach out. If you have a question, just ask. And Spirit is saying ask the second question too, because some people may feel like, okay, I'm going to be brave enough, I'm going to ask that first question, but they keep the second question, which is like the true question, to themselves. So there's something here about like, take it a layer deeper. Do that extra. Something about like, do the extra. Something about the extra. Also, this is the excavation era, which kind of ties back into, you know, December is going to be the excavation era. So tying back onto the song, Once Upon a December. Far away, long ago, glowing dim as an ember, things my heart used to know, things it yearns to remember. Things my heart used to know, things it yearns to remember. So what I just said, you know, a couple minutes ago about the remembering. So certain things are getting recaptured by the heart so that your mind, heart, gut, like, so your brain heart coherence can find some sort of repairing here. There's a repair here. All right, I think I'm going to stick the collective messages at that. We're going to go with all 12 signs now. A little bit different messages today, starting with Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. All right, Capricorn, there's healing here. So goes through with everything I was just saying in the collective message. There's definitely a mental block for a lot of my Capricorns. Dragon can be a really powerful, potent spirit for you because dragons are purifying. They bring the fire. You know, the fire's not going to burn you. It's just going to burn everything you are not. There's something here about having more grace. Some of my Capricorns, you know, the hardest person you'll ever be, you'll always be the hardest on yourself. And so it's like you are hard on others, but people don't realize it's because of how hard you are on yourself. Now, there's also something here about some of my Capricorns overindulging in their pleasures, and then there's something here with my other Capricorns who are restricting themselves from certain pleasures. So there's something here at Capricorn about really needing to find your equilibrium, needing to find your balance, quite literally working on your physical balance, because Capricorns, the physical vessel is very important, especially being an earth sign, So any activity that actually helps you with your balance is going to be ideal for you, and it's actually going to be the answer to a lot of your other issues in life, Capricorn. So if like emotional things are out of balance, if work things are out of balance, if money things are out of balance, if love or family or friendship things are out of balance, Capricorn, then physically work on your balance and watch how those things kind of naturally slide into place. All right, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter, Aquarius. These are just quick little tidbits. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different tonight. Aquarius, you actually got balance. So for some of you, you could have Capricorn in your chart, and I love slacklining. I have a lot of videos of me slacklining on here, but quite literally this angel is slacklining, which I've always really enjoyed that about this card because, yeah. So Aquarius, maybe, and she's also slacklining over water, but she's also up with the birds. So Aquarius, talking to birds, listening to birds, maybe like your morning, in the morning, journaling while listening to birds could be really powerful for you. If there's a park or somewhere, or if you have a bird feeder, or if you could get a bird feeder, Aquarius, that could be really good for you. Bells would also be really good for you because in the Angel of Patience, she's ringing a bell. So there could be something here about the bells. Also, I'm hearing deck the halls with, what is it? I want to say balls of holly, but I don't think it's balls. Bowels of holly? I don't know. Tra-la-la-la-la. I don't know. That's coming through, Aquarius. All right, we have the hibiscus and the violet, but I'm also hearing violent. I'm also hearing the violin. So maybe also some of you guys could like the violin, listening to the violin, learning to play the violin or fiddle, something like this. Aquarius, there's a need to not take things so seriously, because there's a rigidity here. There's a stiffness, Aquarius, and the stiffness can also start to show in your expressions, and it's things that wave your spine will be really good for you. So I know I did this in another one of these readings, but Aquarius, one of the best things you could do is every single time you shower, I'm talking every single time you shower, hopefully that's every day, you go find a wall in your shower. Only one part of your body is going to touch it at a time. You get about 5 inches, 6 inches away from the wall. You are going to go forehead, nose, chin, collarbone, breast, rib cage, belly button, and you are going to like wave down your body. So it's going to be like hit, 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 and you're going to wave, work on that spine through your body, engage through your core. There's something here about you need to wave your body, Aquarius, because I'm seeing like neck issues, like going to a chiropractor all the time. Yeah, the chiropractor is going to bring you back into alignment slightly, but only for that moment. It's what you do the rest of your day. So some of my Aquarians, you're doing really good at like the acute things, but the chronic things aren't going to be addressed because there's something here that you need to change completely in your posture and your mentality. Pisces. Pisces, you are going to get a blessing if you surrender. There's something here about having faith in the process. There's something here about needing to just sigh out and just say it, scream it loud. I'm hearing the song Shout to the Lord. Mountains bow down. So you could be by the mountains, Pisces. You could want to go to the mountains. You could be planning a trip to the mountains. We have William. So you could be a William, you could be dealing with a will, you could have a strong will. Something here about, this could even be like about writing a will. Apples, what is that, like obviously apple pie, apple things, apple cider vinegar, maybe Pisces could be something that would be good for you during this time. I know some people do like a shot of apple cider vinegar every morning. I juice a lemon, but you know, everyone does their own little things, but Pisces, that could be something here for you in that. You could also be very fertile during this time. So if my Pisces are, you know, not wanting to make them babies, then perhaps be extra careful. And if you want to make those babies, congratulations, because I definitely see that occurring. I see like all the stars being aligned in that way for my Pisces. There's also something here for my Pisces about your brightness, your brilliance. So when I think of brilliance, I think of with photography, it's like bringing out the brilliance in something. Not the highlights, not the lightness, but the brilliance. So it's a quality where it's like Pisces, other people could just try and like up their brightness. They could try and, you know, up the lightness on something, but you have a brilliance to you. And it's something that like can't be mimicked. It's like it's something that can't be, yeah, there's something that's special about what you do, Pisces, that you bring a different brilliance to it. And brilliance should be like your, I don't know, your word for the next 2 weeks. And everything you create, allow your brilliance to shine through it. And Pisces, there's something here about the fact that you just are brilliant and you don't see how brilliant you are. Aries, we have union, enthusiasm, and group consciousness, and power also came through. So for some of my Aries, you are learning about your power through unity. Yeah, look, you're joining in with all these people. So for some of my Aries, you are being blessed with tribe at this time. You are regaining your power because there is a sense of unity, a sense of togetherness, a sense of community and camaraderie, and you could be feeling like you just went through a really long period of being all on your lonesome and you were enthusiastic on your own. You were like on this journey all by yourself and everyone's like, how are they so happy all by themselves? And it's like, because I have faith that on the other side, you know, I won't always be alone. Plus, you're never really alone, Aries, because with all the angel wings and this card with the unity, you know, it's only one person and then all the other beings have wings. So for some of my Aries, you could have many people on the other side that are very close to you. And you could also have, you know, just nature, feeling like the earth beneath you, the grass, the trees, the leaves, the birds, all of that makes you feel together. And because you feel together, you never feel lonely. You're attracting all of these new relationships. So for my single Aries, I definitely see a relationship here. For my Aries who are just wanting a different work environment or more friends, I'm seeing a lot of that as well. And this can also be a busy time with family. What else for my Aries? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. We have thankfulness for understanding. So Aries, you could have gone through a period where you were being heavily misunderstood or where you misunderstood someone else. There's misunderstanding going on here, and it seems like this is definitely getting cleared up, and there's going to be, of course, during Thanksgiving time period of being grateful and thankful, you're going to be especially thankful for these misunderstandings getting cleared up. So Aries, there's something here getting cleared up. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Taurus, you also have the group consciousness and human unity, but you also have responsibility. So for some of my Taurans, you could be responsible for bringing a group together. You could be responsible for stepping forth and saying something. You also could be signing documents, signing papers, signing contracts. You know, just be cautious with, we're not in retrograde yet, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad time for, well, actually, Mars is in retrograde. So Taurus, if you're going to sign any new contract, just be especially cautious and make sure, yeah, that you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Make sure that you're reading everything. Just be extra mindful that, you know, with more power, with more things requires more responsibility, and that requires more discipline. And there's something here of making sure that you are going to feel at ease. Because I definitely see you getting a lot busier, because this could be like committing to 3 different jobs, 3 different groups. This could be like, you know, being a dedicated parent, but also being a dedicated teacher, also being a dedicated student. Like you're learning something, you're teaching something, and then you're parenting something. I'm seeing a lot of my Taurans doing like all these different things. And houseplants could be really good for you. And if you're like, I don't have time for all of that, air plants are amazing. I love like the little terrariums and then just hanging them. I actually have a few. Air plants. I'm saying that for Taurans. All right. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Gemini, you could be learning something about your purpose. In fact, it could be clearer than it's ever been before. Something is clear, and it didn't used to be clear, but it's clear to you now. You see, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Maybe it was raining a lot. It could have just been raining a lot in your mind too. For some of my Geminis, you're just gonna start feeling happier. Like you could have gone through a period where you're just kind of quiet didn't really want to talk to anyone, just kind of men. You're just going about like feeling particularly unemotional and just like going through the motions. But I see a lot of my Geminis getting more inspired, and blue and yellow are going to be really powerful colors for you to work with or wear. Crystals that are blue or yellow, so you know, like calcite, lapis lazuli would be really good crystals. Jasper and sodalite would be really good crystals. Yeah, things like that. There's something here, Gemini, about spending more time outside under the stars. So I know it's pretty cold out, but I don't know, some people like to get extra snuggly with either a fire outside or sleeping bags. I'm just seeing some Geminis like really snuggling up, or you know, just even sitting outside with something warm in your hands, whether that is like a candle or a mug of tea or hand warmers or an animal. I'm seeing some of my Geminis like holding an animal close to them to keep their hands warm. I do that with my horse. I just like put my hands under his blanket and you know, just nestle my hands under there while he eats his dinner. But there's something here, Gemini, about gaining wisdom from the sky, from the stars, learning more about astrology, but also learning more about astronomy, like specifically. Some of my Geminis, you could, yeah, have a particularly curiosity towards learning about the planets and star systems, learning about the constellations, maybe even getting like telescopes, or getting a telescope or binoculars would be really powerful for some of my Geminis. There's something here about gaining more clarity in some area through connecting more to the stars. Yeah, so Gemini, we have the lotus flower. No mud, no lotus. So this is all about, you know, going through the mud, Gemini. But after you go through the mud and you realize how deep those roots really run, there could be something here that was like gut-wrenching. Like you could have had a love that really transformed you, a loss that really transformed you, a fight with someone or a falling out with someone, or just a total apathy. Like something here is really transformative for you, Gemini. And it happens from you stepping outside of humanity altogether and connecting to something greater, which is why it's like on a solar system level. It's like the stars, the planets. It's bigger than just humans. All right, Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Cancer. Cancer, Spirit wants you to be obedient at this time. It seems like Spirit is trying to guide you to a new adventure, and you're like, is it safe? Can I do it? I don't know. Do I want to step out? It's like someone, okay, so there's this deck that I have, and it's the garden and the gate. And this girl is looking at the gate, and she wants to go beyond the gate, you know, out into the forest, but she's safe in her little garden behind the gate. But, you know, there's a whole forest out there and whole, you know, gardens for her to explore. So for some of my Cancers, this is a time for you to go off the beaten path and explore. And it is safe. Spirit says you can trust it. There's something here about receiving more nurture, and you can perhaps even feel like uncomfortable receiving certain levels of nurturing, and Spirit says, you know, maybe that's because you're not nurturing yourself to that level of intimacy, because we can only receive the level of intimacy from another as we receive from ourselves, and we only have, you know, the capacity to go as deeply with another as we have gone within ourselves. So for some of my Cancers, this can be something like Spirit is wanting to bring you down a new path, a new layer of depth. So this means you're ready to meet yourself at a whole new level of depth, Cancer. Rainbows and messages. So you could be seeing rainbows. There could be some, I'm hearing that reading rainbow. So something here about rainbows. Well, at the end of a rainbow, Cancer, is a lucky pot of gold. So gold could be a particularly powerful crystal. I want to say crystal. I know gold's not a crystal, but I'm hearing like a golden crystal. So you could have something, maybe a crystal that's kind of golden. I don't know, painting a crystal gold? Do people do that? I don't know, there's something here. It's like a gold flake. I'm seeing gold flakes on something. This could even be like food. You know how some like places, especially during holiday seasons, put like gold flakes on their fancy foods? I don't know. This could be like making fancy foods with actually gold on it, eating gold, taking gold. I've done that actually for a period of time. Ormus, O-R-M-U-S. For some of my Cancers, you could be playing with taking Ormus, or things like Shilajit or ashwagandha. or all of these things together. Obviously, please seek a professional before adding something new to your routine, but I will say taking Ormus was actually really powerful for me, and I've taken it a couple different times. My favorite is from the Hawaiian volcanoes, because Ormus is sourced in many different areas. So I would, feel into that, but for some of my cancers, working with Ormus and taking Ormus might like really transform your work, like what you do for work. With rainbow messages, you could also receive messages in the form of like over a rainbow. This can be for some cancers doing like shamanic journeying, so putting on a black eye cover, listening to drums or listening to other music that helps induce a trance-like state and going in that self-hypnosis state, and you could quite literally get messages, like see them permeating over a rainbow. I'm also seeing in Mario Kart, the racing game on Nintendo 64, the rainbow track. Something about the rainbow track. All right, first, emotions of love. So we also have love as the magician that pulls man out of his own hat, Cancer. So that is and this is with the lilac. So that is kind of fitting for everything that I just said. You could be falling in a deeper layer of love with yourself, or Spirit is trying to push you in that direction because Spirit wants you to fall in a deeper layer of love with another person or with another thing. All right, after Cancer is Leo. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Leo, Spirit wants you to just relax. Things don't have to be so difficult. It's simple, really. It's simple. That's what I'm hearing. It's not easy, Leo. I know it's not easy, but something here is simple. And if you are facing the same issue repeatedly, Spirit says it's because you're making it more difficult than it needs to be. And you're making it more difficult than it needs to be because there's a part of you that thinks that the more difficult way would be easier. And perhaps that is true, because remember, simple isn't easier. But it's also more tedious, whatever you're doing, Leo. And so the simpler way, even though it seems like it's going to be more difficult, it is more simple, and it's going to be less tedious, therefore it's going to save you more energy, Leo. And there's something here about your energy feeling, slightly depleted. I'm being drawn back to the Once Upon a December, far away, long ago, glowing dim as an ember, things my heart used to know, things that yearns to remember. So for some of my Leos, you could feel like there is a ember that is dimming, and this is in a relationship or an area of your life, something, and you feel like if that ember goes out, then it's gone for good. So Leo, there's something here where it's not. You just need to simplify and get back to the bare bones of an operation, get back to the education. It's like by divulging, by going like headfirst into being a student. Although now I'm hearing headstrong, I'll take you on, headstrong to take on anyone. So I don't know where that's coming from. For some of my Leos, maybe you just need to be really headstrong here and push through. Leo, there's something here about having more patience. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So simple. So some of my Leos could also be frustrated because they feel like the people around them are getting certain things, or certain things are happening in their lives, but it's not happening in their own life. So there can be a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out here, Leo. There's something here of falling in love with your own blooming and not making it wrong for being a different pace or at a different rate or at a different state than you feel it ought to be because of those around you or because of your age or other perceived things in society. After Leo is Virgo. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Virgo. You get the money coming in, but it only comes in if you go through the transformation all the way, Virgo. So this is indeed the caterpillar going through the chrysalis to become the butterfly. But that is what is required for you to receive all of this abundance. So Virgo, there's something here and it's uncomfortable. You could be living in a scarcity mindset right now. You could wonder, how is it going to happen? I mean, if I were a caterpillar, I would wonder how it's going to happen. If someone pointed to a butterfly and they're like, that's going to be you in 2 weeks, I'd be like, what? it. But for some of my Virgos, it could be like that. Something could be a certain way right now, and 2 weeks from now, if you really believe and you really surrender and you allow yourself to fully rinse and go through this transformation and you don't fight it at all, Virgo, I see something being very abundant for you. I see something almost quite literally dropping in your lap. But it's like you have to allow it. You have to either be in the right place, you have to be able to, you know, have the humility to have that conversation. I'm hearing apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. So some of my Virgos, I don't know, you either got an apple bottom or you're looking at someone that's got an apple bottom. Forget-me-nots. Okay. Eternal memories. Domestic happiness. So for some of my Virgos, you could be very strongly connected to a memory of someone. The best things in life are the people you've loved, the places you've seen, and the memories you've made along the way. So for some of my Virgos, there can be an attachment still. You don't want to forget this person. You worry that they've forgotten you because you're scared to forget them. Spirit says you'll never forget them, but we do have to remember to make room for new things in our lives. We must be at peace with putting past situations up on the shelf. And so Virgo, you're at a season in life where you have to put something on the shelf and go through this transformation for you to be able to receive the abundance of the new connections, for you to be able to receive this new career, this new income, this new level, this new frequency. And there's something here where instead of seeing something like it being forgotten, now I'm hearing the Avril Lavigne song, "Have you forgotten everything that I wanted? Did you forget it? No, you never got it. That's done. Yeah, yeah." So, but in that song, you know, she's so angry. Like, there's so much rage. And she's really only hurting herself with that rage. She's like so upset. Has someone forgotten? And it's like, no, they haven't forgotten. They've just repressed it. Like the beginning of this reading and the collective energy portion of it. Once upon a December, Anastasia is having nostalgia. So, you know, she's going back to how it used to be. She's attached to when the palace was alive with the ballroom dancing. And, you know, it's like some of my Virgos, you could be having a real difficult time with something changing. And it's like, but it's going to be so much better on the other side of this change, even though it's going to require a change. Nobility. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self, Virgo. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. So there's something here, Virgo, about releasing the former self. All right, after Virgo is Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Libra. Ooh, love. What's love got to do with it? Well, it's got a lot to do with it, Libra. Seems like you're learning about love. You are a student of love at this time. And if you're positive, then the love's going to be positive. And if you're not so positive, then, you know, you got some lessons to learn. Libra, you are learning here about not... Some of my Libras, you hide behind a cheerfulness. There's something here about like hiding behind cheerfulness and needing to shed that and allow a new start and an upgrade into wisdom. It's like instead of doing like the passive giggle to something, it's like, no, just say it. Just say it. There's something, Libra, that you need to just say. And there's something here about also needing to be teachable and not taking things personally. And also not being like, I don't know, I'm hearing like there's a fake nice. There's something here that's fake nice. A daisy. A real date. I'm hearing she's a real daisy. But it's so fake nice. I don't know, there's something here, it's like, if you're wondering why something isn't going deeper, it's because you're just writing on the surface or they're just writing on the surface. And if you're so attached to someone that can only give you superficial things, that's mirroring back to you a level of yourself that only wants to stay on the surface. You don't really want to get to the depth of something. You don't really want to see the truth of, you know, what you'd have to really address for you to get that next layer of depth. And it's like, but you say you want it, but it's like the actions and you or them And remember, they are also within you if they're within them, because they're just mirroring back to your own level of depth or lack of able to connect at that depth. But Libra, there's something here about like, someone doesn't want to go there because they feel like that's negative and they want to stay positive. So they're like parading themselves as this like positive thing. And that's why it's like, it's not fake nice, I'm just staying positive. But it's like, it's actually not positive because you're completely gaslighting the existence of the shadow side. And it's like, there's nothing positive in gaslighting the other half of something. It's like it takes two halves to make something whole, Libra. And there's something here about needing to go back and reclaim the other half within you so that you can reclaim the other half in the other person, or whatever it is. Like, something here has to be reclaimed within yourself, Libra, before you see the union or something repair. All right, after Libra is Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Scorpio. Scorpio, we have tenderness. You could be eating a real tender, juicy steak or tender sushi. Openness, tenderness, understanding, creativity. I love it, Scorpio. This is like ooey gooey goodness. This is like mermaid, dolphin energy. Ooh, some of my Scorpios, you're getting into your own, you know, sexe magique with yourself. You're like loving on yourself. There's a lot of self-love here. There's a lot of water here. There's a lot of flowers here. Get some flowers for yourself. There's something here about watching the sunrise and the sunset, like doing sun gazing, the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. There's something here about getting to know yourself and reaching a new level of tenderness, Scorpio, when you sun gaze. So tenderness pours in when you allow yourself to just like relax sun gazing the first 5 minutes of the sunrise, the last 5 minutes of the sunset, and it will like spark new creative neural pathways within you. And those new pathways that it sparks are going to like open new tributaries, and you're going to be able to like swim down these new tributaries, and you're going to be open to a whole new level of your creativity that you've never tapped into before. It's like you're going to swim into new rivers of yourself that you've never swam in before. I'm hearing Blame Game by Kanye West, because in that song he's like, oh, yo, he's like talking about swimming in her lady bits, and he's like, I never been to that part of town before. So for some of my Scorpios, you could be sleeping with someone and you could be like, whoa, like I'm not a virgin, but like I'm a virgin to whatever that was, because whatever that was, whoa. So for some of my Scorpios, yeah, because we have the openness, tenderness. It's like Scorpio, there's something here that's just like so consuming, but like healing, consuming. Anticipation. Ooh, some of my Scorpios, you are anticipating some sexy time. And we have beauty and happiness. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. So for a lot of my Scorpios, it's like the more tender and open you become with yourself, the more creativity you tap into, the more beautiful you become, because it's just blooming. And from that, I mean, that is your solar plexus, that is your sex center, your powerhouse, and standing in your own power is going to emit and radiate like the sexiness. It's going to attract, if you're in a partnership, you know, a lot of passion between you guys. And if you're not in a partnership, ooh, Scorpio, it is going to attract quite, you know, quite the suitors there. So, all right, we have Sagittarius, Sun, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Sagittarius. You have to be willing, Sag, or they have to be willing. But one of you is not willing right now. And simplicity came out in the reverse. So you could be dealing with whoever had the whole simple thing. Was that Leo? I think it was Leo. You could be dealing with a Leo or a Virgo, or have Leo or Virgo in your chart, Sagittarius. Something here, there's a huge misunderstanding because someone is not willing to listen. The whole time they're hearing the other person's side. They're not even hearing it. They're just like building up their case against them. Someone is not willing to listen to the other side. And because of that, something is simply out of balance, and something simply cannot get back into balance, because this huge misunderstanding is going to stay a misunderstanding, Sagittarius, until you are willing to hear out their side or they're willing to hear out your side. And you can't force anyone to do anything anyway. And so in the meantime, you can work on your own willingness to hear other people, other viewpoints. You can even just like listen to viewpoints that you wouldn't normally be inclined to listen to. In fact, think of things that you like staunchly, starkly hate, and maybe even like research into them to see if you can neutralize an energy, not to gaslight your own hatred towards something, because I just got that from some Sagittarius. They're like, no, I am against this and I'm not going to neutralize this. But there's like a level of ego in this Sag. Like there's a part of like wounded inner child ego wants to be right, me. I'm justified in this way, that way. It's like making quick decisions. Well, okay then. We have domestic. So something here, Sagittarius, could be, this can even be like family members who staunchly disagree with someone else, work members. This is like a whole group of people that are super against or super upset that someone or something is going in a different way, and that's where their happiness lies. But Sag, you know, you're supposed to be the black sheep. You're supposed to be the one that helps people open their minds. So there's something here of like, this was another message that I didn't get to today, but it's the hold your head, guard your heart. Wait, is that what he says? It's Big Sean, Guard Your Heart is the song, so listen to the song. But in that song, he says, I don't know, there's something here about like, yes, you need to guard your heart, but you can still express yourself and still be willing to hear and take in and listen to what other people have to say or what they believe without absorbing it. So for a lot of my Sagittarians, it's like there is something here about strengthening your own boundaries so you're not absorbing. This can even be like around family holidays and whatnot, like being around people you know you're not always gonna get along with or agree with, and it's like finding a level of comfort and home within yourself and simple understanding of the differences within yourself, that you are willing to be around all the other sides, you are willing to be around different shades, and you don't let it bother you because it can't penetrate you, because you aren't going to absorb it like a sponge, because you are solid in who you are. And so for some of my Sagittarians here, there can be a wisdom about understanding that the more solid you become in yourself, the more you step into your own truth, you don't get offended by other people's truths, being especially the ones that are separate than yours, because you are so grounded in your truth, so it doesn't threaten yours. It can't impose anything upon your truth. It's not a threat. It's not something that's even competitive against. Like there's no competition. And so for some of my Sagittarians, it's like that's where it's neutralizing, is in realizing that it's not a competition and that something can't penetrate you. All right, a little bit different reading tonight. I love you guys. If you'd like a personal reading, hit me up.